we are moving on to our final item today, which is to look at the Golden Globe nominations. And I've got some slides to actually put up. Can I have the first slide, please? Yeah. So let's have a little look through the nominations and just give our views on them. For the audio listeners out there, I will read what the nominations are. And the nominations for Best Motion Picture, Drama, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, after what I've just said, Past Lives, The Zone of Interest, which is the one I haven't seen yet because it's not out yet, and Anatomy of a Fall, which is an interesting one on the list. Any surprises there, Emma, for you, that ones you would expect to be in there which aren't?
Yes, probably. I always have an issue with the Golden Globes because I find the way they split up the movies to be very strange. Like, how is Air in musical or comedy? Like,
yeah, that's another one. We'll come to that slide in a minute, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, all of those things, yes, they do fall into that category. I mean, my personal preference would be for a Killer Moon win, I think, although I wouldn't be mad if Past Lives won.
No. For me,
Killers.
Yeah. I mean, we've not seen Zone of Interest yet. That's Jonathan, what's his face? God, Glazer, yes, Jonathan Glazer film. So I think that will be very interesting. I really liked Anatomy of a Fall as well. It's interesting that Foreign Language Picture has made that list as well. We'll come back to that. But yeah, I mean, for me, it would probably be Oppenheimer, I have to say, as opposed to Killers of the Flower Moon. Like them both. And I also wouldn't object to Past Lives winning as well. I think that could be one of the sleeper films in the award season this year. But for me, it would be probably at the moment, for what I've seen, it'd be between those three. Let's move on to that other category, which you say is Best Picture, Musical or Comedy. And the nominees there are Barbie, Poor Things, which we haven't seen yet, American Fiction, which I haven't seen. Has that come out, American Fiction?
No, I haven't.
I don't recognise it.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Holdovers, which again I haven't seen. That's been at film festivals, but I've not seen it. May, December. Why is that a musical or a comedy? Right? It's not really a comedy.
I mean, it's absolutely not. That absolutely should have been in the drama category.
and Air as well, as you say, which I said this is going to win the Oscar for Best Film. I said for Air. Yeah, that was very early in the season, and I think I've been drinking something. Yeah. I mean,
American Fiction doesn't come out until February as well. So
okay, right. So we're not going to see that before the awards unless somebody kind sends us a screener. I mean, hint. I mean, it's difficult because I've only seen 3 out of those 6 films. I
mean, I absolutely would throw May, December in the bin. So that's a no. I would love Barbie to win some awards, but I don't see it winning as many as I would like.
No.
I'm probably not
I suspect that one
Best Picture category.
Although I've not seen either of them, I've heard great things about both Poor Things and The Holdovers. So fairly open category there. I think we'll move on. Next category is best director motion picture. We've got Bradley Cooper for Maestro. Talked about fabulous direction earlier on. Greta Gerwig for Barbie. Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things. Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer. Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. And Celine Song for Past Lives. Again, I probably wouldn't rate Bradley Cooper for Maestro winning that, but it could be Scorsese, it could be Song, it could be Christopher Nolan. I really couldn't judge.
I swear to God, if they give it to Christopher Nolan, I just no. Give it to Selena Song.
It could
That's
be,
what I want to
it could be
see.
Celine Song, or it could be Greta Gerwig, right? I mean, yeah.
Very true.
I mean, that's a pretty open field, isn't it? That one. Next up for best screenplay, we've got Barbie, we've got Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Past Lives, and Anatomy of a Fall, again, which again is interesting. That's made the list. I mean, I'd love Past Lives to win that. I thought it was a very clever script. Could go to Killers of the Flower Moon as well. But we'll have a proper debate of this on this. In fact, I'm not sure we will, because it's January the 7th, the awards. So I don't know. We'll get a podcast in before then in the new year, but we'll see.
It is really frustrating because, all the big awards when they come up, and like people who know me that, what do you think of these? I'm like, I can't really, like, most of the time, if I've seen half of them, it's a miracle. And as you know, going through this list, there are so many that are pegged as really big films that we don't get this early.
Don't get this early in the UK. Yes. Americans out there, yes, send us the films earlier, please. Yeah,
absolutely.
Next category, we've got the first acting award, which again they split into two: actor in a motion picture, drama. Got Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, DiCaprio for Killers of the Flower Moon, Colman Domingo for Rustin, which is great to see him on the list. Andrew Scott for All of Us Strangers, which I haven't seen. And Barry Keoghan for Saltburn.
I'd be a hard push for Andrew Scott on this one. That film was amazing.
Was it?
Yeah. So I would love to see that, though I suspect it will be a Saltburn. Oppenheimer competition.
Yeah. I mean, I would have thought Cillian Murphy is in the prime position for this one. I love DiCaprio's performance as well, I have to say. But for me, it's between Murphy, DiCaprio, and Keoghan. And again, really difficult to call. I mean, we need Scott on this podcast because Scott's hit rate for predicting Oscars and awards is just ridiculous. But yeah. Okay. In terms of actresses, we've got Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Carey Mulligan for Maestro, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Annette Bening for Naiad, which I've still not seen. It's on Netflix, isn't it? Greta Lee for Past Lives, and Kaylee Spaney for Priscilla, which I've yet to see. I don't think that's out yet.
We've got a preview screening next Wednesday of that at Cineworld.
Oh, have we? Okay. I've missed that. I'll try and get a ticket for that. Okay.
And Ferrari the day before.
Yes. Okay.
And One Life on Sunday. Just get them all in.
Oh yes, I've got One Life. I've got a ticket for One Life.
That is amazing. I did see that one at the film festival. Okay, I loved it.
Great. So in this list of best actresses, I mean, I'd love to give it to Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, actually, for this one. Although I did love Carey Mulligan in Maestro, I wouldn't object at all if Carey Mulligan won that for Maestro. They would be my two choices, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a preference in this one. I think, the ones that I've seen were all very good performances. So
yeah, I mean, it's best amongst equals, some of these, isn't it? Then we've got the actress in a motion picture, musical or comedy. We've got Fantasia Barrino in The Colour Purple, which again is not out yet. Jennifer Lawrence in No Hard Feelings, which is an interesting choice for an award.
I just don't see how that is there. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure why that is out. I like the film, but Natalie Portman for May December, Alma Poitsi for Fallen Leaves. Yes, Fallen Leaves gets a nomination. Love that film. Margot Robbie for Barbie, and Emma Stone for Poor Things, which looks an amazing performance from the trailer. I mean, for me in that list, although I didn't like the film, Natalie Portman in May December I thought was just superb. The way in which she was pretending to be Julianne Moore in those scenes, I just thought was an exquisite piece of acting. But again, we're too short on this list in terms of films we haven't seen yet.
I'm very keen on seeing The Colour Purple, but that's the end of January for that one as well.
So we won't see that before the awards probably. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Again, difficult to call. An actor in a motion picture, musical or comedy. We've got Nicolas Cage in Dream Scenario, which I thought it was one of Cage's best performances, I have to say. Timothée Chalamet in Wonka. This was a real disappointment for me. This was a real disappointment for me that he was on the list, because I thought, Wonka's come out too late to make any of these awards. But no, clearly not. It's just been completely overlooked elsewhere. Timothée Chalamet for Wonka, Matt Damon for Air, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers. Again, he looks brilliant, and I've heard fantastic things about Giamatti's performance in that. Joaquin Phoenix for Beau is Afraid, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction, which we've not seen yet.
I would love to see Timothée Chalamet get this.
Yeah, but I don't think he will.
He's not gonna.
I mean, I would actually like Joaquin Phoenix to win it for Beau is Afraid. I thought performance in that film was amazing. Or Nicolas Cage in Dream Scenario.
No.
Yeah, darling.
I mean, I would love Nicolas Cage to get all the awards all the time, but no.
Okay.
It's a no from me.
Emma has spoken. Right, moving through the back end of these awards, Best Supporting Actor, we've got Willem Dafoe for Poor Things, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, Charles Melton for May December, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. So Poor Things getting a lot of nominations again.
I mean, again, I would love a Gosling win on this
Gosling win would be extremely popular, I think.
Amazing. And I wouldn't be mad at Charles Melton winning, because I did think his performance was quite good. But
the one I would really like to win in here is Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer. I thought it took me half the film to realise it was Robert Downey Jr. That's how much he disappeared into the character. I thought he was terrific. But I wouldn't object to a Ken win. Kenough. Best Supporting Actress, Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Colour Purple, Jodie Foster for Nyad, Julianne Moore for May December, Rosamund Pike for Saltburn, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. I mean, the one I'd love to win here is Rosamund Pike for Saltburn. I thought she was just spectacular.
I'm on the Oppenheimer train on this one.
Are you? Emily Blunt? Oh,
even though she was in so little of that film. Yeah. I thought she was really underused, but I thought what she gave was really, really good.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have selected her for that, but okay. Yeah, we'll see what we know. And moving on to the back end here, we got Best Original Score. We got Ludwig Göransson for Oppenheimer, Jerskin Fendrix for Poor Things, never heard of that composer, Robbie Robertson for Killers of the Flower Moon, which was an interesting soundtrack, I have to say, Mika Levy back again in The Zone of Interest, Daniel Pemberton for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Joe Hisaishi for The Boy and the Heron, which again I've not seen. No idea on that one. Whatever soundtrack I really like, it's never that one that wins the award. I'd probably give it to Oppenheimer, but I've not heard some of those. Best Picture in the Non-English Language, Anatomy of a Fall, Fallen Leaves, yay! Io Capitano from Italy, Past Lives from the United States, Society of the Snow from Spain, and The Zone of Interest from the United Kingdom, which again is interesting, although it's set in a German concentration camp, isn't it? So it's probably mostly in German. I mean, I'd love Fallen Leaves to win that, but it won't. I think given all the other attention elsewhere, Anatomy of a Fall should probably have that one as a shoo-in, but we'll see. Best Original Song. We've got 3 songs from Barbie. What Was I Made For? Dance the Night Away, and I'm Just Ken.
That's my vote. I'm Just Ken deserves the win.
I always want that to be nominated for the Oscar, just so that they get to perform it on stage. It's great.
That'd be amazing.
Elsewhere, we've got She Came to Me from a film called Addicted to Romance by Bruce Springsteen and Patti Sciallo. The Super Mario Brothers movie song Peaches, Jack Black et al. And Rustin, which by Lenny Kravitz, the closing titles for Road to Freedom, which I actually predicted was going to be an Oscar nom a couple of weeks ago, and here it is at the Golden Globes. The sad thing for me is there is not a single song from Wonka on that list, which I think is a crime.
Yeah, which I would have assumed, like you said, you thought, it was too late to make the awards.
Yeah.
I would have assumed the same thing. And it absolutely should have a song in this list.
Yeah. I just, given there's 3 songs from Barbie in here, I would have dropped one of those. Out of that list, the earworm for me is probably Barbie and Dance the Night Away, I have to say. But we'll see. And final 2 categories, Best Motion Picture Animated, The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the Super Mario Brothers movie, Suzumi, which will please Andy and Scott in particular, and Wish. Now, you'd have to think if there was a God, then Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse should win this as a shoo-in. But
now, you see, I loved the first one. I would not be fussed if everyone forgot about this one.
Which one?
Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, really? I'm surprised that didn't win last time.
I was really disappointed.
Oh, were you?
In it compared to the first one.
Okay.
So I've seen all of them except Suzume, which does look really good. So I'm definitely going to have to hunt that one out.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be for the nostalgia and just the way it made me feel. It's Super Mario Brothers for me.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Well, we'll see. We're not animation experts.
So much joy.
Yeah. And final one is a Golden Globe special, which is cinematic and box office achievement. And the nominees for that are Barbie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, John Wick Chapter 4, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour as the last one.
Now, I mean, genuinely, in this one, I think this should be a Barbie win.
I think it should be a Barbie win. And I can see it winning.
Yeah.
The big news story of the year was Barbenheimer, wasn't it? And Barbie came out way on top of that one. I mean, I guess Oppenheimer stands a chance as saying that no one would have expected a 3-hour film, mostly in black and white with men talking in meeting rooms, to bring in the box office it has. So it's a surprising one, isn't it? But for me, this is Barbie nailed on, I think. Yeah. Okay.
I swear to God, if they say Taylor Swift, I'm going to throw my toys out the pram. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the Golden Globes nominations and our initial views on that. We will feature the Golden Globes on the podcast, probably after the event now, just to give our views on who won and our feelings about that. That's actually announced on January the 7th. Golden Globes now under new management, of course, so not as controversial, hopefully, as in previous years. But we'll see how those chips fall.